I found the right people. I found the right people in the right positions. I had sponsors, which were, a bit like a client. You had to talk to them. You had to make them feel good about you, to sponsor you, to make sure that I could give them back what they needed.
Where do you feel that determination to win, business, relationships, selling, skill set was good? So where do you feel that determination came from?
I think, again, it's from seeing Deidre and seeing my parents being very true entrepreneurs.
Sometimes in life you've got to take risks.
Sometimes
you've got to get out your own way. And people want the reward, but they're not willing to put energy in or effort or take the risk.
But again, risk is being an entrepreneur. Risk. And don't get me wrong, I've done some massive failures.
So where are you at now then in your journey? What's some of the great stuff you do? I know you're a big inspiration and you do stuff with the government, huge companies around the UK. Welcome to another edition of the Dealmaker podcast. If this is your first time listening, make sure you go back and listen to episode 1. There's amazing content to share with you on how to make money, manage money and multiply money. But before you do that, make sure you stay tuned because today you are in for an absolute treat. I am joined by Julie White, who is an entrepreneur. She's in construction and she is an incredible lady who also heads up Deidre, who focuses on concrete drilling and soaring. And we're going to be doing a deep dive. We're going to be talking about business, blocks, barriers and challenges, and really inspiring you to go out there and get the results that you're looking for. So Julie, welcome into the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you and really looking forward to hearing your story and sharing some great tips and tricks with the audience.
No worries.
Look, where did this all start for you? Business, entrepreneurship, wanting more out of life. Was there a certain time or age where you knew this was going to be your path?
Yeah, I think it was from the beginning. Deidre, I've come to Deidre, was always in my life. And it was the nicest part of my life. I always remember my mother was always in the office. When women was always in the office, and she ran the company it was a family business, from the kitchen sink. We had this red telephone that rang all the time. My father was away working, and then when my father came back from working, there was diamond drillers and sawers sleeping on the floor, a lot of action. My dad would be fixing equipment on the kitchen table, so it was a great feeling. And to see that grow as I grew up, and see my father go through good times and bad times, and to see the company go from just one branch in Coventry up to 10 nationwide.
Wow.
And cutting concrete for every major contractor, every end user, every client, every specialist trade. So
it was like you just saw it from the start.
From the very start.
And then at what point did you say, I want to buy that company? Because ultimately you bought the business from your family.
I did.
And that's not something which happens regularly.
That's right.
When did you know you were going to buy that business?
Well, I had of course, typical me, always make it a long journey or a harder journey for myself, because I didn't want to be Julie White that goes straight into Deidre as Peter White's daughter, because I'd have been a Conservative voter all my life. I would have drove a Granada as he did in those days. I would have had all his views. So I ended up going travelling, and what I found was round the world yacht racing.
Wow.
So I ended doing 3 3/4 because the third one failed, a non-stop round the world. And so really I excelled at that. I sold myself to get into cruise. I found my position on the crew, firstly as four-decker, which is quite an active job and a major job, and then brought myself back to being navigator and then also captain in the end.
Wow.
So it's finding that position that's good for you.
Yeah.
Then my father bet me that I wouldn't only be away, because he is my best friend, for 3 months, and I was away for 11 years. So one day he did call me and say, "You've won the bet. Come on, you can come home now."
He wanted you back home. So those 11 years travelling the world, yacht racing.
Yeah.
That's a skill set in itself.
It is, yes.
What did you learn through that process that you've been able to transfer into being a business owner and doing great things?
Well, it's fantastic sailing around the world.
Yeah.
It's tough as well. Everyone thinks it's very romantic, but it isn't. 60 days at sea with 18 smelly women or 20 mixed crew, it isn't always, and that's what business is like. It's a roller coaster ride. And for me, it was when I could get to the position, I found the right people. I found the right people in the right positions. I had sponsors, which were, a bit like a client. You had to talk to them. Yeah. You had to make them, feel good about you, to sponsor you. So I had to make sure that I could give them back what they needed. I had to then do sponsor sailing. So I was proving myself that we could go. I was then bringing ideas to them and saying we could do this yacht race. You would get this advertisement from it, and so on and so on. And also, you've got to maintain the yacht. You've got to have the right people. You have a shore crew, which do the most of it when you're on land, but when you're at sea, you've got to get down and dirty. And that's what business is about. Even how high you get, you still have to get down and dirty.
You've got to roll your sleeves
up
and be able to do pretty much every aspect of every role.
Yes.
Because then you know how to delegate that to someone else. So it's almost like you treated that like a business.
It was.
You operated it like a business.
And of course we had accounts. We had a budget. I had to make sure that we were buying the right blocks and make sure that we weren't over budget and that we were delivering what they needed for the return on the profit.
Where do you feel that determination to win or that determination to be part of something came from? Was that maybe something at school?
Yeah.
Was it a relationship? Was it something someone said to you? Because you seem a very determined woman.
I've got a lot of energy.
With you from a lot of years. And I noticed that a lot in myself ever since I was really young in school. I really wasn't the brightest book, to be fair, and I really struggled academically. Yes. But business, relationships, selling, skill set, I was good. So where do you feel that determination came from?
I think, again, it's from seeing Deidre and seeing my parents being very true entrepreneurs. Okay. And it was a brand new technology in those days. So they were really selling this to the construction industry. So I heard things, I came from school, it was there. And also when I went to school, I was a head girl, I was captain of the tennis club, I was captain of any team you could ever find because, again, I'm like you, I wasn't academic, I was very nervous at school, so when it came to exams, I failed, I flunked, but I could get the right people on my team, I could talk to the bullies, I could negotiate, I could speak to the teachers, and again, I'll give you this if you give us our team that.
Great.
So that's where it come from, that kind of win.
Yeah. So if there's people tuning into this now that also don't feel they're academic, maybe they're a bit like me and they can't read and write properly, or they suffer with dyslexia, or they bumped out of school, or maybe they're in a job right now that's not serving them. Yeah. We are right in saying that it doesn't have to be that way, right?
No, it isn't. I came out of school with 1 O level in religious education, so I could have been a nun right now. And I actually thought I was stupid. I remember walking out that school thinking I was totally stupid. Wow. And what has the world got to be? And the world was, that's it. I'm just going to go in the family business because my name's White. But I determined that I wasn't. So I actually went from there, did work for Deidre on and off, but also worked for other construction companies doing administration, making sure the site agent was happy, making sure everything was going, talking to the subbies, everything, so I kind of got myself into a fantastic position there. Fantastic. And also then that experience has brought me to where I am now, being out there on my own.
What do you think separates then people that are successful who stay stuck? What could be some of those differences, or what someone's tuning into this now and they are in a ruck and things aren't quite working for them. What would you say to them to help them get out of that?
Well, I think it's quite easy for us entrepreneurs to get stuck, especially when, it's the external things that always completely piss me off, I bought a company and then I had the biggest I bought the family business out and I had the biggest, darkest recession in 103 years. Then we had Brexit, and then we had Brexit. Oh, and then we had Brexit again. Yeah. And then a pandemic. So really it is, you feel like you're being knocked. But I think being a true entrepreneur is to get up and find the ability to find what you're good at.
Yeah.
So like you, I'm very good at communicating. I'm very good at finding who I am. So to going out there and pulling the right people in, getting the ideas, go out. I mean, I love a good exhibition.
Yeah.
I love going to a concrete exhibition and seeing, of course, diamond drilling and soaring equipment, but what also can I offer the customer? What also is out there? What could I branch into to make me the one-stop concrete cutting, concrete service provider to the industry?
So we're talking about diamonds. Do you actually drill for diamonds?
Yeah, well, no, we don't. They're not these beautiful things that both of us have got on our fingers. No. We use industrial diamonds, horrible brown things from South Africa usually, and we cut concrete with diamond tip drills. So we will drill something as simple as a hole for a plumber's pipe, to cutting a doorway, a window for McDonald's or Rolls-Royce, putting a track inside for Jaguar, to cutting a motorway bridge in half, actually cutting a nuclear power station down. So it's very diverse inside the construction industry. So I make money out of holes.
Out of holes, I love that. And you seem very passionate about what you do.
I love it.
Like, you're really passionate about that. And I think for anyone tuning in, it's important to find your passion.
Yes,
and
you
then,
have to.
And then run with that, right?
Yeah.
There's so many people out there now that are in jobs or businesses that they absolutely effing hate. Yeah. And they're bitching and moaning.
I've been there.
And they're not willing to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes in life, you've got to take risks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to get out your own way.
Yeah.
And people want the reward, but they're not willing to put energy in or effort or take the risk.
But again, risk is that's being an entrepreneur. Risk. And don't get me wrong, I've done some massive failures. I've actually, you think, what did I do that for? But really, an entrepreneur can get back up and go, I'll do it again. I think it was it Dyson did 238 prototypes before he sent out his first Hoover or a vacuum cleaner. So come on, we can do it. So for me, from an industry that's only 60 years old, I like going out, finding new technologies. I want to give that service. I can give you before and after, in between. I can bring my management team in to love it as much as I am. So then I can go off and do what I'm good at. Go to exhibitions, go around the world, go and do my beautiful hobbies, and give me that breathing space to be able to have the vision to go back and set the plan.
What has been a struggle for you then over the years? If you could pick one or two things that were really difficult, and how did you overcome them?
I think the difficult, how I bought out the family business was I did come back from sailing, and I started my own construction company doing floor preparation for the construction industry, new technology, new techniques. I could sell that till it come out of your mind. I made it fun. I'm terrible for being fun. I'm terrible.
I love it.
I actually ground the black adhesive when you take off tiles off massive warehouses like Wickes's and Dixon's and all that, and then I would come in and take the vinyl tiles off, so I could do the vinyl timing, grind away the adhesive, and then a new floor could put down. So it was a shop fitting industry, very quick. And so I nicknamed my machine the Super Stripper, and the grinder was, of course, the heavy grinder.
Yeah, I love it.
And of course, I was the best stripper and grinder in the business.
Wow,
so
fantastic.
It's
make a name for yourself, make it a bit comical, a little bit quirky.
Yeah, a bit quirky.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
No.
But you definitely seem like a woman on a mission. Has it been difficult in a male-dominated industry? Has that been a challenge?
It has, and I've had
Have you had pushback on that and things like this?
I've had some great times with it. I have, and you've got to again laugh, because I was a young woman, that was running that company, and I would go into site huts with my managers, and I'd be sitting there, and the site agent would run in and say, "God, we're late. Can someone take the minute?" And of course, I'd be the only woman in the room, so he'd say, "I'll take the minutes." "Oh yeah, I'll take the minutes." And go that. Then we'd finish, and he'd go, "Right, okay, D-Drill, take your contract to your managing director and get that signed." And I go, "Oh, I can do that as well."
Oh, that's me.
And of course, but you again don't take it serious.
No.
It's great to be different, and I actually went when I first bought D-Drill out from from having that business, I did the management buyout of the family business. I kind of pretended not to be me for a while. I loved colours. I always dress. I'm quite boisterous. I've come bounding into it, and if I know something, I'll have a joke. But that's me. But I spent a lot of years not being me, and you can't, because there's a lot of time in that.
Did you lose yourself in that?
I lost
process?
myself in my process because I thought I had to be corporate, and and I don't, and if people think I'm stupid because I'm bouncy, and they're wrong. And that's their thought, not mine.
I love that. I really love that. People try and be what other people think they should be.
Role models are great, but they're not you.
But be yourself. Understand your values. The skill set that bring to the table.
Yes. Lasso that.
And the thing that I've noticed is that, look, someone will hate about you the very thing someone loves about you. You can't keep everyone happy. As long as you've got a great product, a great service, and you're genuine, and you want to get out there and you're really passionate, like, talk about your business, sell your business, like, and just get people on board, and don't let anyone get in your way, which is incredible. So where are you at now then in your journey? What's some of the great stuff you do? I know you're a big inspiration, and you do stuff with the governments and huge companies around the UK.
I've had a most amazing time. I mean, I take it a little bit back. In 2011-12, I was put forward by one of my customers, and I won Businesswoman of the Year. So Karen Beatty and Hilary DeVay won it before me. So kind of the media got a hold of me in those days. Then I was very different, woman in construction, not bad looking, and I did Question Time, I did the One Show, I did Newsnight, I did all that. And what I found, what I could do then with the passion I could give with the media, was Radio 4. The Times, the Guardian. I've been in everything. I could then push my other passion of apprenticeships.
Right, great.
And that is really true. Why did we decide it was we could only go into any industry or business or whatever by having a degree? No, it's wrong, and it's not the right route for everyone. And we're not stupid if we do apprenticeship. My father was an apprentice electrician, but went into and was an entrepreneur. So for me, then, I actually managed to become the Drilling and Soaring Association chairman, which is very good. First woman, but I said to you, that's by the by now, being the first woman in anything. We can do anything. That doesn't matter anymore.
Women are strong.
Yeah.
Women are uprising. You've got many women now owning, controlling huge organisations all around the world.
But quotas, I hate quotas. We should never be a quota. No. We should be there because we bring something different to the boardroom. Yeah. We bring a different feel. I bring a different feel into my boardroom. We have a lot of hairy arse concrete cutters all arguing about a piece of machinery, and I'll come in and say, well, what is that? Why? And they'll let me. It's a different feel. We bring to table.
Great.
You've got to bring different things to the table. So really, from that, I then became the chair of the Drilling and Soaring. So from that, I then became the World Diamond Drilling and Soaring President. There is a world up there, the International Drilling and Soaring Association. So then I was going around and pushing our beautiful industry of concrete cutting and demolition, controlled demolition, around the world, and setting standards for all the countries that haven't got an association.
Wow,
that was fantastic.
That sounds incredible.
And then from that, I then was asked by the Society of Specialist Contractors, which I was one, which was, you've got the steeplejackers, you've got the white liners, you've got the flat roofers, the steep roofers, you've got the floor layers, you've got every specialist trade. Who knew that I made, as I said, who knew that was concrete cutting? And there was a whole employee system out there doing it.
Wow.
So from there, I was asked to go on to that board of that association, which was a fantastic. We then joined with the main contractors, so the likes of McAlpines, Balfour Beatty, Kia, the massive boys, and we joined association, and that was nearly coming up to 10 years next year.
Great.
And I stayed on the board. I was asked to stay on the board. Can you imagine a little concrete cutter from Coventry? That's a good to say.
I love that.
Concrete cutter from Coventry. And I was asked to be on the board at one of 8, making policy, talking about apprentices, which is my passion, remember, and
making a difference.
Yeah. And then from that, 8 years later, I am now chair of Build UK.
Wow.
So I can then go and talk to any of the main contractors, any specialist trade association, and I'm making a difference. Don't ever forget D-Drill. I'll never forget D-Drill, but I've brought a great team in. I've built a great team so I can go off and do this passion. And also, don't get me wrong, I'll go into, I go into Downing Street before the general election was called, and I advised them on construction, and also I was chosen by the government to be on their small business council. So we were looking at barriers to business, because 99% of us out there are employed by a SME, a small medium enterprise, and we are bringing something like 2 billion into this economy.
That sounds great. And I love the fact you're so focused on the apprentice, helping younger children, coming through college, after school, helping them get a skill set where they can add value and set themselves up for life.
They can earn.
And they can earn money.
I was on the radio listening down there moaning about their their graduate their loans that they've got. £50,000-100,000 where you could have learnt on the site, and you're not stupid being an apprenticeship.
No,
right now
you're learning a skill set.
Yes.
You can then go set up your own business. You can always be employed. You're doing something which someone's always going to need. I think it's incredible. I left college after 3 weeks. My son, as he's 17, he left college. He's now working for me. But we've got him learning the phones and
send him off around the world sailing.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. But there's so many kids leaving school now. They do not have an idea, and there's all this pressure on them. And
also for construction. Remember, this is what my passion is: apprentices and construction. We're not stupid in construction. No. Every pound spent in the economy, £3 gets given back to the greater economy. There's over 2,000 different jobs inside construction. You can be a bid writer, you can be a concrete cutter, you can be a QS, you can be a white liner, you can be a steeplejacker. There is everything. So look out there and keep asking. Any young person, any person that's got a child that not academic, you're not stupid going in construction. And you just walk around the centre of London and see what we built over the years and what we're still building.
I love that. So what's next for Julie? Where's the next 5 to 10 years taking you? Because it doesn't sound like you're slowing down.
No, I don't. I don't know. That's always the thing. And I've woken up a few times at night the last probably year or so thinking, what next? And I'm not worrying about it, because I never knew what was coming next. So why should I worry about it now?
I love that.
So, and
just live every day,
follow
and your passion.
And get out there and speak to people. I like speaking to anyone I can find. I can speak to a guy on a site, selling the big issue, to a chief exec of a massive company. Speak to them. They're only human. And from that, and I really do believe it. Sometimes it's who you know, not what you know.
For sure.
I know that is.
Yeah, for sure. Build your network.
And also just ask. Why not? You can only say no, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. I really love your attitude. You're a really successful lady, and
Thank you.
It's really great to have you on this show. And I know for sure you're going to inspire and motivate lots of our listeners. What would you say? Final tips to anyone tuning in now that want to grow a business, get into property, want more success, want to be a better person. What would you like to say to people tuning in?
I think we've said some. You've got to get the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. I know that sounds very straightforward, but it is. Get the right people on, and and get out of thinking that I've got to be good at everything. People think that they're am I a leader or am I a manager? I should be both. You're not always good at both. So get to a point when sometimes you can't afford it when you're a one-man band and you're going through, I'll do that myself, it would only take me 5 minutes, I can't, teaching someone else, teach that person, take that time, so that you can lasso what you're good at and go and do that. Get an accountant, external or internal, as soon as you can. I hate accounts. And also, don't be ashamed. I always go into all my meetings with financial people, with legal people, and say, talk to me like I'm a 16-year-old sun reader, because your acronyms and your bollocks words sometimes don't mean nothing. And you're just trying to talk your own words to make us feel that we have to pay more. So I'll stop a meeting, even in Downing Street. I'll stop and say, excuse me, what's that? What's that mean? You know, so never, ever worry about being that.
Great.
And you will fail. And with business, every day, always expect the unexpected.
Fantastic. Well, this is called the Dealmaker Podcast. So in your own words, what does being a deal maker mean to you?
Getting out and leashing what I'm good at, and finding those people that will see my vision, come with me. Some won't, some will screw you over, you know, but just, you know, back them off, move on, and actually finding what you're good at and your passion and promoting them. If it's for the greater good of your industry, for your pocket, for your own company, just do it. Find that passion and really go for it, and find anyone else to do not the crap, that's wrong, but the stuff that you're not good at or you don't like doing. Then just spend that money on them so that you are free to do and expand your life, your vision, and your company. Wow,
fantastic. Well, they are fantastic words from a fantastic lady. Thank you so much for coming in to doing a show here at The Dealmaker. So there we have it, Julie White. Wow, what an incredible lady. Real inspirational, some extremely valuable content there, some golden nuggets. Outsource the things you're not good at or you're not passionate about. Really find something that you love, something you're good for. Don't let anyone get in your way. Thanks for being here at the Dealmaker Podcast. And hey, if you've not yet left me a review and you got some great value today, I really want to get this podcast into as many people's minds as possible. So please subscribe, leave me a review, and make sure you listen to the next episode. Thanks very much, Lee and Ryan, the Dealmaker Podcast, and we'll see you very soon.